Time. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck. Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound, up and in! 1 point more to go!
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Back from the holiday break. I hope everybody enjoyed some good family time. The Ducks with a victory over the holidays in the Holiday Bowl. We're going to recap that. Also talk a bunch of Oregon men's and women's basketball today and really just unpack the entire holiday break. You can hear, though, you're going to have to bear with me today. The voice is a little hoarse. The voice is a little raspy. I'd love to say that it's just because Oregon basketball beat Oregon State and Oregon football beat North Carolina, but I actually think, thank you. I actually think I am a little bit under the weather, so thanks for bearing with me. But it's good to be back. I'm Joey Mack. If you have any Facebook comments, questions, YouTube comments, questions, let me know. We're going to talk a lot of football today, but I do want to mention programming note. Tip-Off Tuesday, the first Oregon Basketball Coaches Show, comes your way this afternoon. For those of you who like to watch the show live, we will record the show from 2:30 to 3:30 for our radio audience. So what I mean by that, from 2:30 to 3:30, we will have the stream live here in the Country Financial Studio when Terry and I are actually doing the show. Then our radio audience will hear it at the regularly scheduled time of 7 p.m. across the Oregon Sports Network, and the Oregon Sports Network podcast will have it for you there as well. On today's show, Oregon men's basketball assistant coach Mike Meniga joining us before the Ducks travel to Colorado actually tomorrow, which means Jordan Brenner will be in hosting Duck Insider for you Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, while I'm on the road and while Terry Johns and the Oregon women are on the road heading to the state of Arizona. Kelly Graves on the Coaches Show coming up, Tip-Off Tuesday as well. More info, goducks.com/OSN. A Holiday Bowl victory and a lot of celebratory conversations with Dan Lanning, with Bo Nix, with Alex Forsythe, with Chase Cota, and then the entire post-game press conference. We have that for you on today's show as well. And men's and women's basketball both coming off wins in their most recent contests after the holiday break. That, look, let's be honest, for the Oregon women's basketball team, went pretty darn good. For the Oregon men's basketball team, up and down, which is kind of how this season has gone. And everybody's been asking me, what's the availability going to be like of some of these players? Well, Coach Altman talked with me about that during the Oregon State game. I talked to him on the Toyota Coaches Corner, and he said, well, they haven't been practicing in Jermaine Couisnard and Keyshawn Barthelemy, so probably still about 10 days out for those guys. But we'll see as they continue to go through their rehab. All right. Let's recap the Holiday Bowl. And as a result of the Holiday Bowl now, we can recap the entire Pac-12 and Oregon football season. Anytime you get to 10 wins, I think it's a pretty doggone good year. Now, is the standard higher than 10 wins at the University of Oregon? The standard at the University of Oregon is to compete and win championships. Ducks competed. Didn't win a championship this year for Oregon football. And you know that Coach Lanning's going to be the first to say, okay, good year, but it's time to get back to work. And that's what the Ducks are doing now over the next coming few days and few weeks and few months. I should also mention that in February, the signing class will be complete. That was one thing. Duck Insider was off the air during the holiday break. And one thing I don't like with the early signing period is that it's so mixed up with the holidays and with bowl games and everything else that we actually take our break because of Holiday Bowl, or I should say bowl game travel, And so we don't have one of those special edition shows for you for the early signing period. But don't worry, when the signing class is complete, we will have that show for you coming up in February, second week of February for Oregon football and the second National Signing Day. All right, Holiday Bowl. What a game it was. Very back and forth early on, right? Bucky Irving was phenomenal. The Ducks had the run game going really for the entire game, but a really back and forth game. And, it was funny. Heading into halftime, it's 14-14, and the Ducks got that ball back with 4:34 to go in the half. This was where the game could have potentially turned, right? It felt like it was pivotal that the Ducks needed to score because Oregon got the ball to start the second half. So it's tied at 14. The Ducks have been one of the best in terms of the middle eight, as they say. The last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half, Ducks were one of the best teams in the country in that category in terms of finishing the first half and starting the second half. So it felt like this set up well for Oregon. Well, a bad turnover, though, for the Ducks. On a throw that was a little bit behind Terrence Ferguson, two defenders actually kicked it in the air, and North Carolina ends up intercepting it. Okay, I just got to say, do I have a hat on the desk somewhere? Like, tip of the cap. I mean, what? Now, it's interesting, though. On the sideline, Todd Miles actually said this to me, and he made me think of it right away. He goes, hey, well, you can't intentionally kick the ball. So, was it an intentional kick? I mean, you couldn't prove that on replay, but, I mean, tip your cap, right? Like, what a wild deal that was. A great play, but damn. Like, what are you going to do? So then, though, what you need to do is stop them, and unfortunately the Ducks didn't. It went from potentially being 21-14 Oregon to 14-21 North Carolina. A huge swing. Ducks got it back with 26 seconds left, but you couldn't really do much in 26 seconds. So it's like, okay, well, I guess the middle eight finally didn't go Oregon's way. And it was Oregon's ball to start the second half, and they didn't get it out of their own territory after a 3-and-out. Now, I can't be the only one that at that point went, uh-oh. Like this, it started to feel a little uneasy with a good offensive team like North Carolina. Because remember how all of us heading into this game said that it was two great quarterbacks and two high-scoring offenses and two defenses that had guys either opting out or transferring, and it was like, boy, this could be a real offensive shootout. Yeah, we sure called that one, didn't we? Yeah, we really got that one right. Anyway, the Ducks didn't get much going. A penalty on UNC's punt team actually kept the ball with the Ducks, and I wanted to highlight that mostly because I have never seen that before. Hey, raise your hand if you've ever seen a review like that, and then they throw a penalty after the review. I had never seen that before. I'll be honest, I was looking up in the booth, like trying to see what Jorgie was thinking and doing, and I'd never seen it before. Never seen it. Anyway, Ducks didn't get it going, though, after they were given that extra set of downs. And when North Carolina converted on that field goal, it's a 10-point game. Ducks, it felt like they had to score with 9:13 left in the game, and a big throw downfield to who else but Troy Franklin. Felt like the first time the Ducks had really had an opportunity to go downfield, and Troy Franklin makes a play that draws pass interference. Then the Ducks hit Chase Cota for a huge pass. And actually, there were two tremendous catches for touchdowns on this particular series. Chris Hudson, what a great catch. One of the many that doesn't count, and you hate that. Like, if you're Chris Hudson, that better be on your highlight reel, and just don't tell anybody that it didn't count, right? Like, that was a great catch from Chris Hudson, but a penalty for an illegal man downfield did erase it. Led to a 3rd and goal from the 6, and we got a tremendous catch from Troy Franklin. The Ducks are within 3. 2 great catches, only one of them counted. Is that like in baseball where you get like the foul ball that's absolutely crushed and no one ever will remember it because it's a foul ball? Or like in basketball, you get this tremendous continuation dunk and there's no continuation rule in college basketball, which might be one of the more dumb things that college basketball hasn't adopted yet. Yeah, anyway, that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. So here we go. It's North Carolina ball with 6:58 to play. A big face mask penalty kind of hurt the Ducks. Got to a 4th down in Oregon territory. North Carolina snuck it. Then a big 3rd down stop from Oregon that led to a field goal. The defense buckled down when the defense needed to keep it within a touchdown. A 27-21 ball game with 2:29 to go. Ducks had 3 timeouts. This is where it got fun. Ducks moved it into the red zone with under a minute. 4th and 2 at the 6 after a timeout, and Bo Nix took on a full blitz and found Chase Cota at the goal line. Couple things. One, Bo Nix audibled to that play. Well, not audibled. Bo Nix called that play. He was like, I want to run that. And he did. Worked out well. Also, I really wish that I knew exactly what his name was, but the umpire who ducked, thanks, buddy. The Ducks owe you one, because if that umpire, I'm telling y'all right now, if that umpire doesn't duck so that the ball can get to Cota, it would have drilled him in the teeth. Like, I mean, it's part of the field, right? Part of the field. So a heads-up play from the umpire there, just really well done. And I tried to look at the official stats to actually see, like, okay, who was who. I think it was James Shaw III. So to James Shaw III, hat tip, because, and as I say that, all of you are like, yeah, you know exactly what I was talking about, right? Like, one of the photographers who was at the game got a great shot of him ducking as the ball's coming in to Chase Cota's hands. Worked out great, though, didn't it? Great catch in a one-on-one situation where Chase Cota really had the isolation and made a great play. And then Jorgie called it. It's 27-27. Everyone's happy. You know, like, Camden Lewis, he is automatic. He is automatic with PATs. And Jorgie goes on the broadcast. I'm not kidding. He goes, this is a huge extra point. Thank you, Mike Jorgensen. Yes, yes. And then that was the loudest I have ever heard a field goal post. Just, and it went through. And you know what? It's like a banked 3 in basketball. Should it go in? Probably not. Do you deserve to make it? Counts in the scorebook. Still counts. And I have to tell a quick story, and I hope Cam is okay with me telling this story. So, running around on the field in celebration post-game, because it's 28-27, Ducks win, we're all excited. So, I've got the microphone and the headphones on, right? And Cam knows. He knows what I'm about to do. And we actually were in a commercial break. And I just go up to Cam, and I said something to the effect of, you know, like, well, how you doing? And he goes, honestly, Joey, I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it. So I did not ask Camden Lewis for a post-game interview. I felt that he gave me everything he needed to give me in that moment. But to Cam, my last hat tip of the broadcast open today. You made the PAT. That's all that matters. In the play-by-play box score, it doesn't say that it hit the post. It just says PAT good from Lewis, Camden. And that's what matters. It went through. The Ducks ended up winning by the exact same score that the Ducks won their last bowl game. Did anybody put that together? So, Oregon's last 3 bowl wins have been by exactly 1 point. Exactly 1 point. The 2020 Rose Bowl, it was 28-27, exact same score. And I loved the photo that Rob Mosley got of QB1 and QB1, Justin Herbert and Bo Nix. Because they quarterbacked 2 Oregon teams to 28-27 bowl game wins. Wild. Okay, but then in the Red Box Bowl, anybody remember the score? 7-6. The Ducks love to win games during bowl season. Ugh. And it was close. It was close. 3-1 all-time in the Holiday Bowl, the Ducks are, and they're 2-0 in Holiday Bowl against Mac Brown. How about that? They beat Texas when he was there, and now they beat him again. And the Ducks have won 10 games for the third time in the last 4 seasons. How many programs in America could say that? Not many. They won 10 games in 2019 and 2021, and it's the first time winning 10 games in consecutive seasons since 13-14. The 6-10-win season in the Pac-12 era. The Pac-12, not that old. Just over a decade ago, the Pac-12 became the Pac-12 from the Pac-10. Pretty impressive what the Ducks have done. And Bo Nix was really good, 23 of 30, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, the 1 wild interception. Had only 5 carries for 6 yards. I think you could tell he still wasn't quite 100%. But the 10th game with multiple touchdown passes for Bo Nix, and it's his first bowl win. And I'll be honest, until I saw that from the Pac-12 research crew, I didn't put that together, that it was the first time Bo Nix in his career, because he was 0-2 in bowl games at Auburn, had won a bowl game. And you'll hear it when we talk with him coming up from my conversation with him on the field post game. It was great to see just the elation on his face. And Bucky Irving tied a career high in rushing yards, 149 on 13 carries and 2 touchdowns. First game in 2022 with 2 rushing touchdowns. And he eclipsed 1,000 yards on the season in this game. That 1-2 punch of Irving, Whittington, whew, they were really good. And Chase Cota, really good the last 2 games. 12 catches, 178 yards. Talk about stepping up when the Ducks needed him, down the stretch. And what a storybook ending for Chase Cota. Comes back to his home state, catches the game-deciding touchdown. I mean, you can't storybook script that stuff any better. All right, we're going to review the season, get a quick timeout. When we come back, some of the highlights from the Holiday Bowl as called by Jerry and Jorgie, and some of the records, what it means moving forward. A lot more to get to. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the Drug Facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the Drug Facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/Drug Facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're going to recap the Holiday Bowl a little bit more. And, you know, I do Shirley asking about the field at the Holiday Bowl and the seating looking weird. I'll be honest, it was a little funky, just with, like, the end zones were really tight. And so for me, actually, on the sideline, it was hard for me and the photographers, for example. But I actually thought the seating ended up being okay. I haven't heard from a lot of fans that were like, yeah, it was weird. But it rained about 3/4 of an inch the night before the game, and there were certainly some soft spots. Like, I didn't anticipate my shoes being soaked at the end of the game. They were. Was it as bad as it looked? I'll be honest, I don't know how bad it really looked. I've watched the replay of the game, but I wasn't thinking about it in that way. But it was wet, don't get me wrong, and certainly I don't think it was the grippiest of fields, I guess. I'll put it that way. But, hey, win's a win. It's a big win. To get to 10 wins, I think that's a really big deal, and especially in the context of the entire Pac-12 bowl season. A couple of the big games that didn't go the Pac-12's way. This is probably up there with Washington, the two biggest bowl wins for the conference. That's a big deal after I think the Pac-12 was really good this year. Really good this year. Some of the highlights. You heard me go through it there with my recap. Here's how Jerry and Jorgie called it, and believe me, you're going to tense up and you're going to have some stress, again, when you hear some of the highlights from the Holiday Bowl win.
Wait a minute, are we playing football or baseball here? This is a great setting for Oregon's 4th Holiday Bowl and a great opponent, Oregon and North Carolina. White uniforms are not going to be white very long tonight. That green grass is going to change those colors. Snapping back to throw. Looks middle, pressure comes, gets to him, down. Back at the 10-yard line, Mace Funa. Their first opportunity with the ball, they take it all away. Scored first, 7-0 Oregon. Snap back to throw. Looks middle, pressured, hit down. Vasa got to him before he could set up and find somebody. And hand it off to Bucky Irving again, going left, caught it up, nice run, almost breaks free, does, gets to the outside, 45-40, as he got speed, 30, to the 20, to the 10, 5, 6 points. Bucky Irving with a tremendous run. TJ, let's go! That looks good and right down the middle, and that will give the Tar Heels a 10-point lead. With 9:13 remaining here in this fourth quarter, the Ducks have got some work to do. Nix turn, back to throw again. Steps, throws downfield, caught inside the 20 to the 12-yard line. 3rd and goal. Snap and back to throw. Steps up, throws, caught, touchdown Oregon. Touchdown Franklin. That's a pretty spectacular catch.
At this point in time, if you're Oregon's defense, you have to force a field goal.
Snap got it, gonna throw. Back, pressure, throws, underthrown, incomplete. Oregon's gonna have an opportunity to win this game. Empty backfield again. He'll step and throw. Ferguson with a grab, spun around, gets free. Ferguson on the right-hand side, still on the move, across the 40 to the 35-yard line. 4th down and 2 from the 6-yard line. Nick's ready. Snap, back to throw. Pressure comes. Throws it. Caught. Touchdown! Touchdown! Ducks score! Chase Cota! But how about a job by Bo Nix with heavy pressure in his face? Extra point try coming up. Place kicked up. Oh! It's good! Hit me in the chest. I think my heart stopped. 1 second. Steps back to the end zone. Way to the back of the end zone. Incomplete! Oregon has won the Holiday Bowl.
I just know how hard our guys work, and you love when they work hard, they get rewarded. And that one came down to the end. North Carolina played their asses off. It was exciting for me to see our guys go out there and execute. I'm proud of them. I love them. At the end of the season, we're not putting a period. We're putting an exclamation point. Well, that was an exclamation point right there.
Love it. You know, there's no better feeling at the end of the year than lifting up that trophy, but for me, just amongst all those guys down there on the field, you could hear it in Coach Lanning's voice when he was talking with me on the postgame show, that he's so proud of them because they have gone through a lot this year, and a first-year head coach. And then for me, walking around among some of the seniors, right, like that's a bittersweet deal. Well, you know what I think will hit some people when I say this, because I hadn't even thought about this, that as a starter, Alex Forsyth has not won a bowl game as a starter. Now, he, of course, was on the roster when the Ducks were going through and winning the Rose Bowl a few years ago. But a guy like Alex Forsyth as a starter hadn't won a bowl game. Did it, right? Got it done. Pretty sweet. Bo Nix, the first Oregon quarterback ever to complete more than 70% of his passes. Also finished second in Oregon's single-season history in completions with 294. He was fourth in passing yards at 3,594, and he tied for eighth in passing touchdowns with 29. Single-season record, 71.9% completion percentage, though. He was good. And I got to think that if he doesn't get banged up at the end of the year, he's probably in the top 10 of that Heisman voting, maybe even higher than top 10. And he's coming back next year with a lot of other weapons around him. Best of luck to Matt Powledge. He's headed to Baylor as their defensive coordinator, so the Ducks are looking for another coach. And similar to, as I said, when Kenny Dillingham took the job at Arizona State, when you're having success, teams are going to want to hire some coaches. It's usually a good indication of if you're having success, if some coaches are moving on and getting promotions to go and maybe try to become a head coach, as Coach Lanning did. If it's not an ultimate compliment to Georgia that Dan Lanning becomes the head coach at Oregon, you know, you should think about it that way. At least that's how I think about it. The Pac-12 overall in the bowl season. Oregon State winning 30-3. Fresno State took down Washington State 29-6. Of course, Oregon's 1-point win. Washington won by a touchdown against Texas, number 20 team in the country, and they beat them in Texas. Pittsburgh, I still don't know how they won. I still don't know how Pitt beat UCLA, but they did, 37-35. And I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson getting hurt toward the end of that game certainly impacted it. And similarly, Cam Rising getting hurt in the Rose Bowl certainly impacted the Penn State outcome against Utah, 35-21. And then Tulane, 46-45. I saw that the ESPN win probability had USC at like 99.8%, and Tulane won. Yeah. Good for them. What a comeback. So the Pac-12 ends up going 3-4 in bowl games, and perhaps the biggest win is Oregon over North Carolina, maybe Washington over Texas, but two good wins in Pac-12 bowl season. Would have liked to see Utah get the win, USC get the win, but I think the Pac-12 had a really good year. When we come back, some of the post-game festivities for Oregon football. I had a number of conversations amongst the celebration on the field, and if you missed it on our post-game show, I want to give you the chance to listen to them here on Duck Insider today, because there's some guys that you'll hear the emotion in their voice. It was good to catch up with some of them in the fray, if you will. More Duck Insider coming up after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Toyotathon is on and here to help make the holidays magical.
You made it!
By helping you see friends and family both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 3rd. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Toyotathon is on and here to help make the holidays magical.
You made it!
By helping you see friends and family both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 3rd. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Couple comments if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Ken asking, do you have any knowledge about our scholarship numbers, how Oregon handles that? Could be tricky. I'm just curious how those conversations go. Do we pull scholarships? Do they transfer? I won't pretend to have intimate knowledge of what the coaches and student athletes talk about. I will tell you that certainly scholarship and roster management is in more flux than it's ever been with the transfer portal, with COVID years, with all those different things. But I don't know exactly how those conversations go, to answer your question. And about scholarships and transferring, I don't know. I don't know how that will work, especially because it is so fluid. So, honestly, Ken, I don't know. I'm not in those rooms. I will also say that Tobiah mentions the Pac-10 went 3-2. Hey, I see what you did there. Yeah, I see what you did there. That was well done. I'd seen that on social media a little bit, and I'll be honest, I did chuckle once or twice. A few times. Part of the celebration on the field is that guys get stuck talking to me, including Coach Lanning. You heard a little bit of it in the game recap. But Coach Lanning, Bo Nix, Alex Forsyth, Chase Cota, running around, talking with them post-game. Let's begin with Dan Lanning. So this is about a minute after his Gatorade bath. I talked with Coach Lanning on the field.
All right, Coach, just your emotions right now. How proud of your team are you?
I just know how hard our guys work, and you love when they work hard, they get rewarded. And that one came down to the end. North Carolina played their asses off. For us to be able to be in that game at the very end and it come down to something we do every Thursday was exciting for me to see our guys go out there and execute. I'm proud of them. I love them. I owe this team a lot, so really grateful for that moment.
You said that this was a bit of a springboard to next year, but also a great culmination for the season. Could you have asked for a better, more stressful one at the same time?
I told the guys that at the end of this season, we're not putting a period, we're putting an exclamation point. Well, that was an exclamation point right there. So really proud of that one for the next 8 months and get ready to go next year.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Jody.
Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach. You could hear it. I mean, he was proud of him. And, you know, I always am wary of those post-game celebrations because you have a limited time window, right, where the guys are running around celebrating, hugging, and in my position, I don't want to interrupt that, right? Like, I kind of wait to make eye contact with somebody, and I'm like, 2 questions? Like, you know, can we, for the radio? And without fail, they're always like, yes, absolutely. But you don't want to interrupt the high moments that those guys are experiencing, and there were so many of them. Right, and then it's also a condensed timeline because there's the trophy presentation that takes place in venue. You probably watched it on TV or you heard it on our broadcast. We carried it on our broadcast as well. And I just want to say that it's fun for me to get back to my man defense days when I was playing because that's essentially what I'm doing when I'm running around in the fray. It's like I'm weaving amongst other players and staff members, and I'm trying to find Coach Lanning and make eye contact, be like, let's do this right now. And we did, but it was kind of fun for me. And if you watch from upstairs, and so Terry Johns was laughing about this. Terry's watching me in his binoculars, trying to give Jerry and Jorgie a heads up of like, oh, I think Joey's about to grab Coach Lanning. And then I can say, okay, guys, I'm ready, you know, all those things. And Terry was like, I was watching you. You must have done like 1,000 steps just to track him amongst the fray. You know, but I say all that half jokingly because I would much rather that in a post-game celebration where guys are actually enjoying it, than the alternative, which is, we were supposed to win or whatever, right? Like, no one's even that excited. It's like, all right, let's move on. That's not what it was. It was true elation, and that's how it should be. Those are the moments in sports you're supposed to celebrate. Talking about one of the moments in sports to celebrate, how about Bo Nix? Making some big plays down the stretch when it mattered, being the team leader that the Ducks needed when it mattered. Bo Nix amongst the fray of the celebration.
Bo, how proud are you right now?
I'm extremely proud. I'm just excited for these seniors. Went out on top with a win. A 10-win season is hard to do in college football, and that's exactly what they did.
What went so right there at the end of the game, the resiliency that you guys showed?
Well, we just started playing together, and we just put plays together, each drive at a time, and we got 2 great drives to end the game and touchdowns, and that's hard to do as well at the end of the game like that when you've been kind of stuck. But we continued to play for each other, and we did it.
How big of a springboard is it for the offseason?
It's huge. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about the work that's going to be to come up here in the future. Got a few pieces to put together, and then we'll be back rolling sooner than later.
Thanks, Bo. Congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thanks. Go Ducks.
Love that from Bo Nix, because it is a springboard, right? And now he, as one of the team leaders coming back, he can help build out that roster the way that he wants it. And then the next guy that I talked to just deserves all of the praise in the world. He's up for the Collegiate Man of the Year award. Whew. Even to be up for that is a big deal. But Alex Forsyth has been through so much in his career. And I mentioned earlier that he said something that kind of caught me by, not surprised, but I was just like, oh, yeah. And it makes you really, I think, appreciate how much someone like him and the seniors that are in his class that have been through, he went through a lot. Alex Forsyth, postgame.
I know that you weren't out there as much as you would like to be, Alex, but how about the way that your team finished? How proud are you of this group right now?
Yeah, I'm incredibly proud. Went down in the third quarter, a little bit of a shoulder deal, but Ryan slid in there, did an unbelievable job. Bo has all the confidence in the world in our offensive line, so it was really good to see them. When I couldn't go back in, to see them execute, so I was really excited for that.
What does this mean to you as a senior?
It means everything. This is the first bowl win I've gotten as a starter. I think we've gone 1,092 days, give or take a day or two, since Oregon's won a bowl game. So it's special for the entire program, and I'm really excited that we got to experience it today. Coach Clem and Coach Lanning, prepared us unbelievably for this game, and so I couldn't have been happy with the result.
I was thinking about it as you guys were shuffling. That's just what you guys always seem to have to do on the offensive line, and that's kind of the nature of your guys' position a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had guys go down this year. Unfortunately, I've gone down, twice with the shoulder deal, but Ryan stepped in, JPJ stepped up, done great. All the guys, they were just ready to play. And that comes with, Coach Clem preparing us every single day in meetings, getting us ready on the field, mixing up the groups, and making sure different guys are working with each other.
Alex, thanks for being a man of Oregon. Go celebrate.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Good stuff from Alex Forsyth as well. And then lastly, I grabbed Chase Cota. I was actually going to grab him first. But like we were talking about, I don't want to interrupt the big moments. He was down there with his whole family. Whole family was around him taking pictures, and so I caught up with Chase Cota toward the end of the post-game celebration.
All right, tell us about that touchdown. What was going through your mind pre-snap, and then you're scoring the big one?
Oh, man, the pre-snap, I know I have the little shallow, right? And in practice, probably we ran it like 20 times during bowl prep. And maybe once we got the zero look where everyone blitzed. And right off the snap, I saw everyone blitz. I was like, oh, perfect, I'm hot for the touchdown. And it just worked just like that.
When you guys were down, what was going through all of your minds? The adversity that you're facing, and then you come back, you win the game. And was there ever a doubt? I feel like there wasn't on the sideline.
I don't think there was ever a doubt. It was just like, okay, we're down by 10 points at this point. Like, we need 2 touchdowns to win. And it's like we have enough time for 3 more drives probably. So it was like, okay, like mathematically we're fine. That's how I felt. And then obviously ended up capitalizing and worked out in our favor.
How proud are you right now just of the team?
10 out of 10.
I like that. Hey, congratulations. Go celebrate. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome to have him on the team this year, huh? Where would the Ducks be if he wasn't on the team this year? Maybe in a different spot. Gave a lot of leadership to that room and certainly made some big plays, particularly down the stretch. Continuing to recap the Holiday Bowl when we come back, the press conference. That was the fun part with me running around talking to people on the field. Now the press conference, facing the music. It's usually a pretty good sounding tune when you win. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it. On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Man, it was so much fun seeing the celebration postgame because, as Alex Forsythe alluded to, it had been a little while since the Ducks had celebrated a bowl win. So it's usually a good feeling when you walk into the postgame press conference. Coach Lanning, Bo Nix, among some other student athletes, talking with the media after the game. Mace Funa, Bucky Irving there as well. And you know they got a smile on their face. They should. Won the Holiday Bowl, talked with the media postgame.
What a fun group to share a stage with right now. I thrilled and excited for our team. You know, North Carolina is a great team. They fought. That was a game that came down to the very last second, as we all know. We talked about it going into the game that we've played 720 minutes of football this season, and we had to play 60 more, and we played all 60 of it. So couldn't be more proud. That's a testament to our players and how hard they work. You know, in the coaching profession, there's no better man than Mack Brown. You hope that you can just coach long enough to halfway resemble what he's done as a head coach. So I have ultimate respect for them and their program and what they've done, but really, really proud of our players to be able to cap this season off. We talked about coming in tonight, you know, and really finishing the season with not a period, but an exclamation point. And I'd say that was an exclamation point.
Bo, that second half, the offense was struggling to move the ball consistently, and then I think the final 7 minutes, you guys went down the field twice and scored. What clicked for you guys, and just what was that feeling when you connected with Chase and you rolled off his defender into the end zone?
Yeah, well, our defense did a great job of just continuing to get us the ball back, and I think that was, in a game like that, it could have, I mean, they had a really good offense, so they could have scored a little bit more, and our defense did a great job of stopping them and giving us the ball back several times. And finally there at the end, we got a few drives together, and we went down and scored, and I couldn't be more proud of Chase and everything that he's done for the team, and just, I mean, battling through injuries, being there for each and every one of us. It's only right that he caught that last one.
You guys are drilling 24-14. You guys just had a way of coming back. Can you talk about your comeback?
Yeah, just, I mean, all we needed was time on the clock. You can't worry about the past, and you really can't worry about the future. You got to be in the present. I thought our team did a great job of being in the present. I think our players made great adjustments. You know, even some of those drives where we stalled out and didn't get a first down, I think our guys believed, hey, we're going to go get a stop and get an opportunity to do it again. And then that's what it came down to. And you talk about phenomenal players making great plays down the stretch. That's what you saw. It took every fourth down. It took every yard. It took every inch. It took every ounce of effort that our guys had to finish the way they need to finish.
For Bo and Chase, if you could just both walk us through just on 4th and 2 during the timeout when Drew makes the call, just what you're thinking.
Wait, let's correct that real quick. When who makes the call?
Oh.
When who made that call?
Oh.
Bo did a good job calling what he wanted on that one, you know.
Well,
but we're all in agreement. You believe in your quarterback, right?
That if you could walk through from your perspective, Bo, why you made the call you did, and Chase, what you were thinking, and just from your perspective, making the catch.
So that's one of our just our go-to plays. We feel really good about that play. We've run it multiple times. It's it's hard to stop. It gets guys in good situations. It puts Troy, T-Ferg, Chase, those guys in good positions to do what they do best. And sure enough, they brought house blitz, and Chase knows over and over that that's the throw. If we get house, he's going to get a natural pick. They're going across the middle, and Bucky did a great job of picking up the protection, and we threw it over the middle, and we got a completion for a touchdown. And it just goes to practice and practice and practice. You run that play over and over, and I think everybody on the sideline kind of wanted that play, and I just happened to be the one that might have verbalized it. So it's one of our favorite plays.
Credit to Bo and credit to Drew and the offensive staff and every single player on offense. It's what he just said, that they had belief in what we were going to run and how we were going to execute it. And, when the suggestion was made, it was like, hell yeah, let's run that.
Yeah, and then just what Bo said, if they were bringing house blitz, I knew actually the whole bowl prep against our defense, we never got that look once, but then we got it here on our practice site here for the bowl one time, and we missed it and went over it, and then sure enough it showed up in the game, and it was the same exact one, and it was perfect, and Bo saw it. It was just an easy touchdown from there.
Bo, just to both touchdown drives, kind of what does it take, and why is this offense capable of completing a game like this where there's no room for error, really? Yeah. 4th down and all those plays.
Well, it takes 11 guys to buy in and believe in that drive, and when you're down by, I believe it's 10 points, you need a score there. So we knew what we had to do to go down and do that, and we did. We went play after play and made sure we went down, and then there in the second drive we executed, had some explosive plays. T-Ferg had that long one to kind of set us up, and then we get to a 4th and 2, 4th and manageable. And I mean, it's just who wants it more on that specific play, and who's willing to compete until the final whistle. And just again, you can credit every single guy on that offense. You can credit each guy that played a part, each guy that went out on the field tonight. You could tell they were playing it for more than just themselves. And just going back to Bucky's long touchdown run, that was another Alex Forsythe check. So I got to give him a shout out on that one. Alex was incredible for us, and it starts up front. Those guys, and to lead 2 drives there at the end of the game, it starts up front with protection and get us going, and then obviously the skill guys did the rest.
Mace, you guys got that stop, or you held them to a field goal so that they had 24 points instead of going up by 14. Casey makes that big play on the 2-yard line. What do you see on that play, and how does he come up big in that situation?
Everybody just a defense. You have 11 moving parts, and everybody did their job to make that happen. And it wasn't just on that play; it was also on that whole drive. Just focusing on just doing your job and doing simple better, and that's what we did. And we just executed, and it came down to who wanted it more.
Dan, and also Mace, can you just speak to the defense in that second half, the guys that didn't play, whether it was opt-outs or going pro, and the lack of depth, new players playing, and can you just speak to what they did today and just the quarterback they played it against? And
well, first off, Drake is as talented quarterback as you're going to go against. The other one's sitting right here, but he's a hell of a competitor. He's a hell of a quarterback. I think you have to give a lot of credit to him. He had a good night, and I think the one thing that I got to give our players credit for is we were going to play with the guys that came on this trip, right? The guys that were here, that's who we're going to play with. And if you're here, you're good enough because you've been working your tail off all year. And there were guys that were on that field tonight that haven't played a snap for us or played limited snaps for us all season. But for me to get in there and for me to see a guy like Micah Roth go out there and make an impact on this team when his role has been limited all season, but when he gets in there, he does his job, he executes at a high level, and to do it with a level of belief that everybody on the field believed that he would do his job, those are the moments that are exciting for me. Every chance the ball got snapped, and every chance when we got to stop, you saw every guy walk off the field with belief in what's about to happen next. So that's exciting to see that happen and execute.
Bo, obviously a pretty crazy end to the first half with the interception and then the touchdown that really seemed to swing the game. What was your feeling going into halftime? What was the message at halftime, and how do you think that you guys were able to bounce back after such a crazy end to that first half?
Yeah, I was ticked off. I was mad I put my team in that position.
It wasn't a great play on my part, and so it put us kind of behind. But then again, it goes back to the 11 guys, and in this case, the 22 guys who were out there playing for one another. You know, if one of us falls down, they pick us up, and you get to the fourth quarter, and anything can happen in that close of a game. And so I just give credit to our team. They didn't quit. Could have easily kind of tanked at that moment. You know, bowl games sometimes happen that way. Guys start falling apart and start to not want to play, but that wasn't us tonight. We continued to battle and fight. And all it takes is one guy to start doing that, and it kind of trickles away. So not a single one of us did that, and it just speaks to the leadership of the team. Starts with Coach Lanning and then goes down between each player, and you just saw a bunch of guys out there battling and just competing, and that was the name of the game tonight.
Two more questions.
Bo, can you talk about the winning touchdown to Chase Cota for the score, the go-ahead score?
Yeah, of course. One of those plays where we practice a lot, over and over and over. Coach Lanning's not gonna like when I say this, but we hit that play in practice a lot, because it's an option route, so there's a lot of different angles, so it's hard to stop from a defensive point of view. So as much as we hit that, of course, that's where my mind went on 4th and 2 from the 4-yard line. That's what I want to play, what I want to call, because we have the most reps at it, and I know exactly where each guy is going to be. And Chase did a good job of getting over across the field in man coverage and looking the ball in and catching it and getting in the end zone. So extremely proud of Chase. He deserved that one.
Yeah. Bo, congrats on the win. You mentioned Alex Forsyth earlier. I know he may not get as much attention as a lot of other guys, and he won that award on the Navy ship for unselfish commitment to your team. Can you tell me a little bit about your connection with him and how he's been able to rally your guys?
No, Alex Forsyth is probably the most incredible guy I've ever been around on a sports team. He carries around a football all the time. Like, all he worried about is the football. And then he's got a water jug. So he's going to be the most hydrated guy on the team. He's going to be the most prepared when it comes to football. And it's unreal because every day, every snap, for those good snaps, you know, he's got so many things to worry about, but he's worried about the number one fundamental of football, and that's this quarterback-center exchange. So he prepares unlike anybody I've ever seen. He's the best at that. And there's absolutely nobody more deserving for an unselfish award like that than Alex. And he starts everything up front. Everything goes through him. I can't tell you how many times he's got us into good plays or kind of talked to the team if we're down. And there's no doubt we don't have the success we have this year without a guy like Alex Forsyth. And you know, I'm extremely honored to be a part of this team, and especially being behind a guy like Alex. You feel so comfortable when he's out there with you. And unfortunately, it killed him to not be out there at the end of the game. And you know, it hurts when you see a guy like that put everything he has into a program for 6 years, and unfortunately he just can't finish the game. But you know, he set us up and he put us out there in a great situation when he came out, and we just kind of, these guys like that you play for at the end of the day, that you put everything you got out there for, and that's just the kind of team we have.
That's great stuff from Bo Nix, talking about a teammate in Alex Forsyth. And, you know, he, amongst a lot of those other veterans, going to be missed for sure. But I think, you know, one of the things that I remember Alex saying a couple years ago and then especially heading into this year is that he wanted to leave the program in a better place than when he entered it. And I think he has. In large part because of his and other leaders on this roster. I think the program's got a bright future ahead. Going to talk a little hoops when we come back. I'll tell you what's to come the rest of the week here on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans. The official 2022 Oregon football trading cards are now available exclusively at your local Oregon Jackson's food stores. The cards feature over 100 of your favorite Duck football student athletes from the 2022 season. Each pack contains 14 cards, and 1 out of every 10 packs will contain a special edition signed card, so be sure to collect them all to complete your set. Visit Jacksons.com for store locations.
Jacksons. Let's go.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Asking in the comments, who starts at center next year? God, good question. It's been a while since we've really had to ask that question, isn't it? Yeah, good question. Also, our bonus bowl pick'em. Well, Jerry and Jorgie did not do well. Jerry and Jorgie, 1-5. Oh. The only one they got right of all teams to get right, Oregon State. It's the only one they got right. Yeah. Yeah, I went 3-3. Happy to be at 500. Just happy to be here. You know what the coin did? Coin went 3-3. Love to see it. I am as good as the coin in the bonus bowl pick'em. And Jerry and Jorgie, good effort, boys. Yeah, I picked Fresno State and Tulane, and that was the difference. I did pick Tulane. Yeah. I felt really good after Oregon State and Fresno State both won convincingly. I was like, all right, we got this. Yeah, didn't go well. Men's basketball, good win against Oregon State. Women's basketball, good win against USC. Didn't get to the detailed recap on the show today. Jordan Brenner will have that for you on the show tomorrow. Getting ready for a couple road trips for Oregon men's and women's basketball. Tip-off Tuesday this afternoon. See you then.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033